Bickley and Marotta mornings. Arizona sports. The local sports leader. Bickley Blast.
It was jarring and strange to see the Diamondbacks playing in a tiny ballpark in West Sacramento over the weekend. It felt like a baseball team that had been relegated to the minor leagues. And after the deflating emotions that swirled around the trade deadline, the symbolism hit pretty hard. So, what now? Well, the Diamondbacks return to Chase Field tonight for the first time since waving that metaphorical white flag. And will the fans show their displeasure? Will they avoid the ballpark entirely, or will they give the team a mulligan after all those early injuries? No doubt the next 2 months are very important to the future of Torey Lovullo, his coaching staff, and the vibe around this baseball team. If they do not regain and find their identity or a slice of redemption, everybody will pay a price. And with football season just around the corner, a nosedive to end the baseball season could lead to sweeping changes and a long road back. If you noticed, over 26,000 people showed up for the Cardinals scrimmage on Saturday, a sure sign of where the excitement and optimism currently lies in the Valley. And the Diamondbacks, well, they once had their grip on this town and our hearts, and they can't let that disappear without a fight. All right, today's Bickley Blast brought to you by my great friends at Chapman BMW. Make luxury attainable. Find them online at chapmanbmw.com.
Well, first of all, I appreciate Ken and Mike taking accountability because we're all in this together. And never once have I ever felt like I've been on my own island and they were pointing the finger at me. And I think that's what makes this group and this organization so unique, is that when one fails, we all fail. And the way I look at it is I could have, of course, done a better job in several areas. I love defense. I love pitching and defense. That's who I am at my core. And, with a new infield coach, I knew that there was going to be some growing situations, and maybe I could have jumped in a little bit sooner, a little bit more to help facilitate that. So we didn't have those early lapses in April, because all those games in April added up. If we had won 4 or 5 of those games in April that we projected to win, we could be in a totally different space right now.
Well, it's Torey Lovullo on with Burns and Gambo Friday here on Arizona Sports. The question posed there, where this season went wrong. And he's right. There's accountability being taken by ownership. There's accountability being taken by the general manager's office. Torey Lovullo is taking his share of it as well. But where the season went wrong was identified very early. And it was go back to last year. The urgency that was not shown early in the season. For a team that missed the postseason by 1 game, there just seemed to be a it's okay attitude from day one with this baseball team. And that is certainly, you have to pin some of it to the manager, but the players also kind of went out and put forth that attitude as well. I need a day off. It's the day before the All-Star game. I need a day off. And I'm singling out Ketel Marte. He's not the only one.
No.
And that policy of days off and rest and caution has kind of worked its way throughout this entire roster.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So the manager definitely enabled that mindset. There's no doubt about it. He's a player's manager to the nth degree. He's an empath. And I'm real curious how Ken Kendrick is feeling about this. It would be something, and a lot of the fan base has closed the book on Torey Lovullo. You know this. You've been railing about this all year long.
Well, a lot of that fan base closed the book last year on Torey Lovullo. They've thrown the book in the trash now.
That's right. And then they went back to get the book out of the trash, and now they're setting it on fire. So, right? And so that's kind of where this whole thing is. But it's interesting to me because, as I said before, there's what a history between this group. And the one thing that you can say about Ken Kendrick, and you can say about Mike Hazen, you can say about Torey Lovullo and Derek Hall, they're tremendously accountable. Things go wrong, they are very, very quick to put up their hand and say, my bad, that is our fault. They rarely ever obfuscate or point fingers, and it's a sign of a real healthy, functioning group of people. But the question just becomes, you can just drill it down to the very basic. Is it time? Is it time for a new voice?
Well, Burns and Gambo also posed that to Torey Lovullo on Friday. Does he feel like he's coaching for his job the rest of the season? We've talked a lot about this auditioning process for a lot of these players. Is it a further audition for job security for Torey Lovullo.
I live in that space every day. Nothing ever changes with me. I can't necessarily worry about what's going to happen tomorrow or the next day. I just want to go out and be the best version of myself. Because if I'm worried about the wrong things, I can't lead this team. I got to be able to take care of what's going on inside of the dugout and do my job. If I do my job to the best of my abilities, wherever it lands me, that's all I can worry about. And I can't worry about the things I can't control. And my main control is to walk into this clubhouse today, lead these guys, help make good decisions to win a baseball game against the Oakland Athletics.
Yeah, I mean, furthering the disappointment on this season, and we just talked to Todd Walsh about it, and Todd has a unique perspective traveling with this team, and he talked in great detail about how he felt the trade deadline affected a lot of players on this team. And again, that's a reflection of things gone wrong. I'm not going to sit here and eliminate the human element of baseball. They are human beings playing a game. Yes, they're the envy of a lot of people because they do it for big dollars, but there is a human element to it. However, that human element has been in place since 1876, basically, when they started playing baseball professionally.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen a Diamondbacks team, certainly, but any team affected as much by the trade deadline as this one, because they were playing their worst baseball in conjunction with being worried about where they were going to play next.
Yeah, and you've heard a lot of people talk about the focus was off and this was off and that was off. Maybe it was the sheer number of players that were being talked about. Maybe it was the fact that the talking began early, that the Diamondbacks kind of were declared sellers pretty early in the process. Whatever it is, I tend to agree with you. It's the trade-off. You get paid. When you get paid the money you get paid to play professional sports, what you reconcile before you even start is there are things about this job that are not ideal. The fact that you can trade me to a different city at your whim overnight, and suddenly I've got to rip up my life and go there and try to be a professional, that's the bargain. That is the deal.
Deal with it.
And to go back to Torey Lovullo, that's the job of a Major League Baseball manager, is to keep the team focused. This is not, the NFL where you're calling plays during a game. This is not the NHL where you're doing line shifts during a game. Before a game, after a game, during a game, it's to keep the team focused, and they seem to have lost focus over the last week.
And yes, and the reason why they had so many players affected by trade deadline rumors is because they woefully underachieved. Where does that fall? It falls on the manager and the players.
Yeah. No, exactly. And again, there's been something off about this team from the very beginning. As you said, I expected a different kind of team, a hungry team, a team with incredible edge based on what happened the last week of the previous season, and that hasn't been the case at all. So I don't know where my instincts take me when it comes to the manager. Part of me doesn't see a universe where they bring him back for year 10. But then part of me thinks, what if they show a ton of fight here down the stretch, and then they maybe blow out some of his staff and give him a new third base coach and another new pitching coach and another new infield coach, and who knows?
At that point,
I don't. Again, I'm just riffing now. I don't know. My instincts. I'm not clear on this one.
Look, I think the what if is pretty substantial here. Because there are 50-plus games left.
Yeah.
They could make an impression. I don't think they will, because they've failed to make one to this point.
That's right.
So, but we'll see.
Yep.
I mean, they haven't made a move yet.
Oh, you got the Padres in town for 3 tonight, and the Padres are really good, and the Padres have got some swagger. The Diamondbacks better find, to quote Torey Lovullo, find themselves in a space where they can find the best versions of themselves, Vinny. How's that for some hippy-dippy stuff?
Thanks for watching Bickley and Marotta. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.